This is
Hello?
Russell. Can you hear me?
Hi. Yes, I
Hey,
can
how's it
hear you.
going?
Sorry, you cut out for just a second. I'm really good. How are you?
Good. I was just
You're
calling
calling for
because,
Tyler, right?
yeah, he left me a voicemail yesterday about, like a follow-up customer service ticket for a delivery that was made on Monday, and he just said to call him back,
Yep.
so just seeing if he's available.
Okay. Yep, he is in right now, so I will help you with yours. Oh, you do?
This is Tyler. How can I help you?
Hey, Tyler, it's Russell. Thanks for reaching out yesterday. I got your voicemail.
Yes. This is the customer where you had too much and the concrete had cracked, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can't remember exactly if I said much in the voicemail or what questions or feedback you have right now. And I apologize. I'm helping a customer as we speak, but I wanted to make sure to take your call.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, yeah, go ahead and I don't know. I mean, I guess I had looked into it after that happened.
Yeah.
Um,
If it's easier for you to call me back like after you're done helping someone,
no,
like
I'm just
that works
creating
fine.
their order. It's just a repeat order.
Okay.
I just don't have your information pulled up, but I generally know what your complaint was and what had happened.
Yeah. I think you didn't say too much in the voicemail, just to give you a call back sometime like today or so.
Yeah, just when we're both available. Yeah.
But yeah, it's for the gravel delivery that was too much, and then just a crack in kind of like the edge of the concrete driveway, which I'm pretty sure was from the delivery truck, like backing into the driveway.
Uh-huh.
So I'm just kind of curious if you guys would be able to like pick up the remaining gravel. Because I ordered like 1 cubic yard, kind of anticipating that for like the volume that I needed like slightly less than 1. So I figured ordering the 1 should be fine.
And then you have way too much?
Yeah, I would say like visually guessing, it kind of looked like maybe around 3 cubic yards were delivered. I would say around that much, because I know last summer I also got a gravel delivery from you guys of around
3 as well,
I think it was around 3.
Yeah, so I had looked in that. Like, is this a new customer? What, just trying to fill out the situation on our history with each other. And I think there was just that one order from last year that was a 3-yard load.
Mm-hmm.
And then, this time, I don't know if the driver explained to you, we talked to anybody else, the reason it was extra, and usually it's just a little bit extra, and hardly anybody ever complains about getting extra rock. They either have an expanded project, or they'll give it to somebody else who will just be all excited about something free, whether it's a neighbor or whoever. But in this case here, you're like, no, I do not need any extra products, right?
Yeah.
So,
just because I ordered it for a little like yard xeriscaping kind of like river rock thing, so I like didn't need a huge kind of quantity.
Yeah, and obviously, like, we were getting you a little extra because he was doing a split load and they had overloaded to make sure both customers got enough. But I think what happened here is you got the extra, obviously.
Yeah.
So I can definitely arrange to have somebody come get that. I haven't done anything with that yet, but I can work on that and get back to you and let you know what we can be doing to help you out there.
Okay, that's great. I think for I'm not sure what you had in line for a timeline, but I think anything in like the 1 to 2 week range. I don't know. Is that kind of?
Most definitely. That's honestly what we usually do. Is if we have customers that have been needing some rock, like we'll say, hey, you instead of come back here and buying it from us, can you just help us all out here and go pick it up there? Obviously, it's like it's all on us and at our cost to lose business or whatever, but to basically just have one of our guys or somebody to work with to have them just go pick it up there rather than come back to our yard to pick it up.
Yeah.
On your way out, but I got you down for 5.
Cool. Yeah. No. I think that timeline for pickup I think is like great.
Yeah, and the goal will be to get it sooner than later, and I can maybe update tomorrow morning, and it may be as quick as tomorrow, but it's just some kind of timeline to count on.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that's awesome.
And then the other concern here is the concrete cracking.
Yeah, because I think so. It kind of like I'm not sure if you're able to tell from like the pictures, but it kind of looked like when the truck was backing in, like the rear axle, or like I'm not sure how like the weight is kind of distributed, but it kind of looks like that for one of the rear wheels, it looks like half was on the grass and half was on kind of like the concrete, right where it's kind of like, I'm not sure if that's where it is weakest, but you can see there's like kind of like a tire mark. And then, I mean, for like, if it was like a typical concrete cracking thing, I don't think it would be like that big of a deal, but like it did look that the whole slab had kind of like broken through, and that it's kind of like sinking by I think like around an inch or so for like a maybe like a 2 or 3 foot section.
Gotcha. Yeah, I did look at those pictures, and we have, this goes way back. The worst one we ever had is somebody that had us deliver, and then they called us like 2 hours later. You owe us a new driveway, like a whole new driveway, because it cracked our driveway. Obviously, we still had like at that time release responsibility, because ultimately we'd go out of business if we had to replace one driveway because they're so expensive. But this customer was, and I'm not saying you're, because I looked into yours, but this example of this customer, the driver actually had taken a picture of the driveway beforehand because he just felt weird about it. Like the customer just seemed fishy, let's put it that way. And they basically, we think they almost ordered a load of rock to try to weasel us into getting them a new driveway when it wasn't even our fault. But ultimately, our thing ever since I've been doing this for, even before we started this part of the business, I worked for my dad, is basically like, hey, we'll dump on your driveway, but it's, if anything happens, it's on you. And 99% of the time, nothing happens. Or if it was an issue, we would be telling customers like, hey, there's a 50% chance your concrete will crack. You probably don't want to do that, but very, very seldom does the concrete crack. But because even though it's a residential concrete pour and it's not like a highway, it's still strong enough to hold the weight of the trucks, because even the weight of these trucks can be the same as like a loaded up RV or boat or something, when you have all that concentrated weight on less axles and fewer tires. So in this case here, I do agree with you that the concrete did crack from what I can tell, right? I'm not going to just be like that concrete was cracked before he got there, that it did crack from him making that delivery. With that said, normally we don't do anything, and I know I don't want to say it's like I don't care. It's just if we did get put in a position where we would take responsibility for stuff like this, unless the driver was, being completely careless in what he was doing. Like we've hit mailboxes and stuff like, hey, you weren't watching your rearview mirror. But when you're trying to back a truck down a driveway, they're doing their best to just make that delivery, and there's not much he can do to prevent or not prevent it from having any damage.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say, like, hey, I don't want to try to work something out with you here, but at the same time, I don't want to say, yeah, let's just, send somebody down there and fix it. I don't know what your thoughts are. I
mean,
you might be thinking, well, it came in a bigger truck than last time, so I wasn't expecting it to. And we know, unless somebody has like told us like, hey, there's a certain specification for my driveway, or a very good example is some people have like these little culverts, like they have the little streams that run in front of their house, and so they actually have a bridge that the truck has to back over. And they'll like say, hey, it's only rated for 10,000 pounds, because it's been built to just take a sedan, right? Not any delivery trucks. And so, like, unless somebody tells us that their delivery site has certain specifications, we deliver with, just the most available dump truck to make the delivery. And so, so I was concerned, like, shoot, maybe this truck was heavier than your last one, and obviously it was a bigger truck. And I don't have the exact like technical specifications on like pounds per square inch. So it was a bigger truck. It's an all aluminum truck bed. So the truck itself is like built to be a lighter truck. So it looks really, really big. And it has more tires. So the weight of the truck is distributed, and that's just part of like the concept of like, lightening the load on the road. and that helps your driveway as well. But at the end of the day, the concrete did crack, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I personally, I'm like, okay, we, even though it's only 1 out of 100 that crack, we do deliver thousands of loads a year, and if we had to, pay for any cracked concrete, it would just completely put us out of business, because cracked concrete, if you actually go through and replace it, it's, as you probably know, it's really expensive.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't done much concrete or really done any concrete work, so I wouldn't really know one, if it's repairable, and then two, if it is, what kind of work is required to fix it and then have it still not crack in the future type thing.
Yeah. And I can look at your pictures and see what kind of feedback, and see if maybe I don't want to say hey, we'll just completely fix this or whatever, but see if maybe there's something we can do, even though we don't I don't know if you know, well, you probably did, and just some people just don't think of the chances again of concrete usually cracking are so slim that we do have to make people know that it is not our responsibility to fix it if it does crack, but we don't discourage people from having it dumped on their driveway, because the chances of concrete cracking are usually so slim. And I said, as far as I know, it's probably 1% that it does crack. And if concrete's cracked, usually there might already be some cracks, and it's ultimately because it might just not have been poured well, or the material underneath the driveway is collapsing or washing out. And so what happens is there's a void under the concrete, and you've been pulling your car across there, it doesn't happen, but now that you pull something a little bit bigger, or obviously a lot bigger, but ultimately there's still the weight's distributed across a greater distance and more tires, but it was enough to cause that crack. Just a side tangent on this, on my own house, we moved in 13 years ago, and they did it in 2 separate pours because we have a pretty long driveway. And the first set of concrete they did was absolutely horrible. Within, just outside of the year warranty that they gave us, it started falling apart, cracking, spalling. But then the other half that was poured, it's been 14 years now since I actually did it, and it still looks near new. So I'm not saying hey, it's because whoever poured your concrete did a bad job, but sometimes it's just the nature of nobody knowing if the concrete's going to hold up to a vehicle that it should be able to hold. Because that truck, even though it had the 3 yards on your previous load, is nothing compared to when it has 15 cubic yards on, if that makes sense. So we're usually pulling on trucks that are weighing, 4 times what that is, and the concrete still doesn't crack. And that's what I'm figuring in our percentages of how often concrete cracks. So with that said, let me look at the pictures some more. I want to show you that I care, but I don't also want to promise right now that, hey, I'll, see what we need to do to fix your concrete, because ultimately we just don't do that. And I'm not trying to sound like a jerk. It's something we just have to do as a business, or else people would take advantage of us, or always put the risk on us, and we don't know if the concrete will crack or not crack. And at that point, we would say we would never deliver on driveways, but that is such a needed thing for everybody. If not, it's out on the roads, and that just doesn't work. Not for everybody. Some people that's what they need to do.
If you would be able to look at those pictures, maybe even send them out if you need to. Also, if you need any extra additional photos or anything like that, I can always snap some more and send them over.
Okay. Yeah, let me take a look at it. I'm in office here till 5, so let me see what I can do to maybe try to get back to you by the end of the day.
Okay, cool.
All right, thanks, Russ.
Yeah, thanks for chatting.
Okay, talk to you in a bit. Bye.
Bye.